Hi there, welcome to another Ginger Prince production. This video is in response to a video response from eturnal2010, who put in a video response to my video about evolution, saying that creationists' claim of evolution, something that even evolutionists, I hate that term, would be happy to accept, that being that 10,000 types of animals since Noah's flood have become 20 to 50 million species of animal today, which is an evolution in 6,000 years, which is much faster than anyone would accept these days, and yet creationists seem to accept that. So I posted a video on that, and then this guy called eturnal2010 has posted a video in response which says that there are 3 questions that evolutionists can't answer, and I just want to answer that because it's kind of annoyed me a little bit. I'm sure he's a nice guy and everything, but it's such a naive approach to evolution that it just annoys the hell out of me. It annoys me because there are so many creationists out there who have this opinion that evolution isn't true and have no idea how evolution works. There's no understanding of what it is, where it starts, where it finishes. They just haven't read or looked into it enough to warrant an opinion. They haven't even read a full book on evolution. And so they come up with these sort of answers in Genesis type rubbish critiques. They just crawled off the internet. I'm not saying this guy's done that, but it does appear like he's done that and just sort of gone, yeah, they can't do that, can't do that, can't do. But all of them be answered, or they are just incorrect critiques. So this guy, eturnal2010, has 3 questions he says evolutionists can't handle. First question is, how does life start? So evolutionists can't answer how life began, how the very first life form started. Second of all, his question or his point is that there's been no observation of a genetic gain in information. So from one organism to another, there being anything that resembles genetic information gain. And the third point he makes is that evolution can't describe or can't explain morality. 3 points which I'm going to really quickly refute. The first one is just a non-point. Evolution doesn't even attempt to explain how life began. That's not the remit of evolution. Evolution is a theory that explains from a simple organism how you get complex organisms, or how you get different species. It doesn't even attempt to explain abiogenesis. What you need to do to find that out is look into, biocosmology, loads of other different disciplines, and there are good arguments to be had, and there are lots of absolutely amazing theories that are kicking about at the moment. So to say that naturalists can't even explain that, which he doesn't say, it's just that evolutionists don't explain that, but to say naturalists can't explain that, it's just a lie. It's just not true. There are loads of, all you have to do is look at abiogenesis on Wikipedia, and there's about 30 different theories. It's just a massive minefield of a font of exciting science that's taking place about that. So I don't even need to, as an evolutionist, I don't even need to explain abiogenesis, because evolution doesn't even attempt to explain that. It's not even part of what evolution does. Evolution explains how you get from one life form to another life form. It doesn't explain how the first life form starts. It's a different discipline. So that's the first point, really quickly sort of swept away. Second point, and this again easily refuted. Eturnal2010 claims that there is no example of an increase in information, that mutations are a random sort of noise, not adding information. I'm just going to refer you really quickly to talkorigins.org site, a really quick response to that, and this is the response. I'm going to just quote you from that. It is hard to understand how anyone could make this claim, since anything mutations can do, mutations can undo. Some mutations add information to a genome, some subtract it. Creationists get by with this claim only by leaving the term information undefined, impossibly vague, or constantly shifting. By any reasonable definition, increases in information have been observed to evolve. We have observed the evolution of, for example, increased genetic variety in a population, Lenski 1995, Lenski et al. 1991. Increased genetic material, Alves et al. 2001, Brown et al. 1998, Hughes and Friedman 2003, Lynch and Connery 2000, Oter 2003. Novel genetic material, Knox et al. 1996, Park et al. 1996. Novel genetically regulated abilities, Prinjambada et al. 1995. So on and so forth. So there is loads of observed phenomena of this happening. If these do not qualify as information, then nothing about information is relevant to evolution in the first place. So, and it goes on and on, and you can look more into that, but basically really easily refuted point. There is clearly examples, or there are clearly examples of an increase in information as a result of evolution. The third point, morality. Evolutionists can't explain morality. Right, there's 2 points to this. First of all, evolutionists, if I'm going to be really sort of harsh, evolutionists don't need to explain morality. It's not part of evolution. Morality, it can be explained in many different ways, and evolution doesn't begin to necessitate the existence of morality through evolution itself. One way of explaining this is that evolution can exist through biology, through simple, not necessarily evolutionary terms. So, for example, mirror neurons, and I know this because, you know, I'm a teacher, and I know autistic children that have malfunctioning mirror neurons, and they're unable to empathise, and by being unable to empathise, they have really bad behaviour because they can't put themselves in the shoes of the person they're being horrible to. So, you know, from first-hand experience, I know this definitely has an influence on morality. So just from biological mechanisms in the brain, we have some rudimentary aspects of morality. Now, you say, well, how did those mirror neurons get there? It must have got through evolution. Okay, so we get on to sort of talk about evolution, and you can get a lot of ranges of argument. I mean, not all biologists agree on socio-biological evolution, but there are loads of fantastic evidence and theories to do with evolutionary biology. Reciprocity, which happens, you know, we see a basic morality throughout the animal kingdom. You know, take a hive of bees, for example. Now, the queen bee at the middle of the hive, it's interesting. I was asking someone about this recently, a biologist. You know, what happens to beehives in winter? And he said, basically, the queen bee hangs around in the middle of the hive, and the rest of the bees get around the queen bee and just huddle around it for winter. Now, bees on the outside invariably will die. A lot of them will die, but they're doing it in order to protect the queen bee. Now, this is an evolved mechanism which, if humans did that, if we saw like a child in the middle of the road and ran to push it out of the way and we got hit ourselves, we'd say, oh, what a wonderful hero, what a great example of morality this is. But in bees, we just kind of forget about that, don't think it's morality, but it's clearly morality. It is one bee putting itself on the line, dying for the cause, the greater cause of the other bees, so that the queen bee can survive, so that the species can survive. And that behaviour has evolved. That morality has evolved. It is basically martyring itself, the one on the outside, to keep the rest of them warm so the queen bee survives. It's martyring itself so that the queen bee survives and the species survive. And this happens, you know, on a much more complex nature in sort of primates and then in humans. So there's absolutely loads of evidence. I mean, you just got to research evolutionary biology. You can't just say, you know, it's begging the question hugely to say humans don't, can't explain morality through evolution. Well, actually they can, and they do. There is argument as to what parts are correct and what, and arguing the finer details, but there's heaps of theories, and it's just, I think, pretty naive to say that it can't be explained through evolution or through biology. And obviously the two are very closely connected. So the 3 points are just almost non-points. It's not in any way a kind of response to my video anyway. It didn't answer any of the points to my video. It's just that, he said something about evolution, I'm going to say something against evolution. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, those 3 points just are dead in the water. What annoys me, and why I'm a bit annoyed, is that people take that in and will go, this is really good points, right, evolution has been refuted. Do a bit of research, look into evolution, and you'll realise that it's a load of cobblers. 3 of the most easily refuted points, and again, I'm sure Eternal2010 is a lovely guy, but come on, mate, you need to do a little better than that. You need to research what you're critiquing. Don't just go to answers in Genesis. Don't get your information from creationists, because it's not good information. If you want information on evolution, you go to an evolutionary biologist. If you want, if you're going to research a Bible, would you go to an atheist? No. Okay. Would you go to a scientist? No. You go to a biblical scholar. They might be secular, they might not be, but you go to someone that knows their eggs. You don't get your information off someone else, that isn't an expert in the field. So just a warning there, and it saddens me when there are people that deny evolution, and I don't think have a right to deny evolution. It's one of the most evidenced theories in the world. You don't see them denying quantum mechanics, you don't see them denying gravity, because they don't have a detrimental impact on their faith. They only pick on things that have a detrimental impact on their faith, and evolution has so much evidence backing it up that it's laughable when people try and have a go at it. So that's all I've got to say. Take it easy, everyone. Hope this was interesting to you. It was just a short response to a response.